Are you guys familiar with Jeffrey Archer? Well, kick back, dear listeners and viewers, as I enlighten you with darkness. Even his family history is like, wow! He's privately educated, obviously. He's Oxbridge educated, obviously. His Wikipedia suggests that he lied about the specific private school that he went to. Like, he won a scholarship to this place called Wellington School in Somerset. But then it was reported later that he was passing it off as though he went to Wellington College in Berkshire. Which is weird, isn't it? Yeah, I went to Wellington. Oh, okay. Wellington College. Yeah. He would suggest that his dad was a military hero, even though his dad was found to have just impersonated a military hero, a real guy who happened to have the same name as him, right? Which is, I mean, like, his father took the identity of a dead war hero, right? And then, by all accounts, his son then sort of sparingly tried to pass his father off as, you know? I mean, you can't, like, maybe his dad said to him, yeah, I'm totally a war hero. And he was like, oh, I love my dad. Yeah, he's totally a war hero. Maybe it's something like that. But still a bit weird. Lying about your school, lying about your dad lies and pretends that he's a real war hero who happens to be dead but has the same... Like, it's not the best opening chapter. His father was reportedly a bigamist, a fraudster. And anyway, apparently it all caught up with him when he was charged at the Old Bailey. So pretty serious stuff, I guess. And he got bail. They gave him bail and he just ran away to the United States of America under another name. So he's born, I think his name is William Archer, the dad. He pretends to be someone else called William Archer, who's a dead soldier, a dead war hero. Then a load of frauds and stuff catches up. Then he's like, by the way, I'm not either of the William Archers. I'm William Smith, and runs away. He lies about the school that he goes to. He lies about his father, who is also a liar. He goes on to Oxford. There's claims, like while he's at Oxford, there's claims that he lied about the qualifications that he used to get into Oxford. Anyway, after Oxford, he graduates from Oxford and he goes to work for the United Nations Association. And while he's there, he's also trying to become an MP, right? So he gets in with the conservative social groups, makes some friends, and he's trying to become an MP. But again, he gets himself into a load of bother with allegedly fraudulent expense claims. Like, am I giving you an idea of what, like, how dodgy this guy is? Like, if he spoke like, oh, you all right, lads, like, if he was a bit, you know, salt of the earth, you would call him a career criminal, even by that point. You'd be like, oh, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree with that one. But because he's well-spoken, because he went to Oxford, I don't know, just doesn't seem to cause him any issues. And you might think that that is just an internal matter, right? Like, if I put an expense claim in and my boss was like, it says here that you ate 2 dinners, but I thought that was just you there. Oh, yeah, like, it would be handled internally, right? But apparently his situation, his expense claim situation got so serious that people start writing to his contacts in the Conservative Party. They start warning them not to give this guy a candidacy. He's not suitable. Please don't put him into the Conservative Party. He's not fit. No. There's unanswered questions over here. But, you know, the Tories being the Tories shows ingenuity, doesn't it? They take it as a positive, I guess. They don't take any notice of these warnings. And instead, they reward him with a constituency aloof. Then, in 1974, he goes bankrupt, right? And later that year, he's accused of stealing 3 suits from a department store. Anyway, then he becomes the well-known author that many know him as today. He wrote a very well-known novel called Cain and Abel. He wrote a bunch of other stuff, obviously, but he's accused of plagiarizing a story along the way. So he returns to politics, right, under Margaret Thatcher as deputy chairman. And that is in 1986. But he makes enemies within his own party with Ted Heath and then the actual party chairman, Norman Tebbit. He goes on a national broadcast And he suggests that the problem with a lot of young people is they just don't want to work, right? No, nobody wants to bloody work anymore. You're just too bloody lazy. So that doesn't go down well with other members of his own party. In 1987, the News of the World published a story suggesting he's paid money to a sex worker. Okay? But then the Daily Star take it one step further and they accuse him directly of paying for sex. So there's a bit of a difference there, right? One accuses him of just giving money to a woman who happens to be in that line of work. The other say, no, he paid to fuck her. That's what happened. You got deputy chairman and he's paying that lady of the night over there so he can have sex in her. That's what he tries to present. Giving this money to this woman, he tries to present it as an act of philanthropy, which I love. Because here is a guy who cannot bring himself to empathize with the 3 million unemployed and desperate people that they had at the time. Just broke, living off the dole, kicked out of mining, just sat earning fucking nothing, worried about when their next paycheck or what's going to happen to their career. And he's like, oh, you're all too bloody lazy. Nobody wants to work anymore. Completely devoid of empathy. But, when it comes to a sex worker, that is seemingly what it takes for that empathy to kick. I just got to help this one. I do. Really tugged on my heartstrings. So she did. So he sues the papers, right? They say you paid this woman for sex. He sues the papers, the Star, the News of the World. He wins that case for £500,000, right? Bear in mind, this is in the 80s, so that's worth a bit more than it is now. And Rupert Murdoch settles. He wins that case, but then later it's found, it's suggested heavily that he's committed perjury. People are starting to talk. She is starting to talk. The woman in question is a lady called Monica Coughlin. And she is about to take the stand and tell everyone in this perjury trial what their relationship with each other was. Was Archer a caring, empathetic type who was just financially helping her out of the goodness of my heart? Or did he pay her for sex and then lie about it and sue 2 newspapers for daring to suggest that it had happened in the High Court for £500,000. So which is it? And she's about to appear at the High Court and testify against him, and then she dies in a fucking road accident just before she's about to give evidence. Like, how is that not the shadiest thing you've ever heard of? And then in 2004, oh my God, it continues. It continues, guys. Then in 2004, Equatorial New Guinea, right, there's a coup attempt over there. And their government accuse Jeffrey Archer, somewhat bizarrely, of financing it. But remember, by this point, Jeffrey Archer is fucking bucked out, man. So it is possible that he has financed. He denies it. And he says that the guy that they have apprehended, that they've jailed for national security, for trying to overthrow the government. Archer says that guy has said that he had nothing to do with it. So you should just, he's already said it's got nothing to do with me. So that's it. Game over. Curtain down. Except then later, when that guy is released on humanitarian grounds by Equatorial New Guinea, he says, I don't know why Lord Archer said that, because actually in my new book, of course he has a fucking book out, right? He says, in my new book, I will reveal that a member of the House of Lords, remember, Jeffrey Archer is in the Lords, who is internationally famous, had financially backed it. And I have the banking records to prove it. Where are we at now, guys? Privately educated, Oxbridge. What else do we have? Poor bashing. Nobody wants to work anymore. Expense fiddling. Perjury committing. He went to jail for that, by the way. Coup financing. Son of a fraudster. Then we get to the London bombings, right? Remember those? 7/7? Guess who was in town when that shit kicked off? Jeffrey Archer. Now, I'm not suggesting that was his fault, okay? I'm not suggesting he financed it. I don't think that happened. I'm not even suggesting that he had anything to do with it, right? I'm just relatively sure he just lives and works in London. I think that's his connection to it. So okay. It's not that crazy, but just bank it for a second, okay? Then we get to the 1986 assassination of the Swedish Prime Minister, a guy called Olof Palme. Jeffrey Archer just happens to be in Sweden, in that city, at the exact time that the Swedish Prime Minister gets assassinated, right? So 7/7 bombings, Swedish PM assassination, he's at both of them. He was also in Brighton for the Brighton bombings. Just going to throw that in there too. That's 3 terrorist events he's been in the city of question for. Then, spool forward to 1997, I shit you not, Princess Diana, Dodi Fayed, staying at the Ritz in Paris. Henri Paul, getting fucking shit-hammered, like he's Justin Timberlake at the Ritz Hotel. Again, no judgment, Henri. We all like a tipple. But take a wild fucking guess. Who was also staying at the Ritz in Paris that night? Jeffrey fucking Archer, guys!